Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm coming at you with my worst / most disappointing books that I read this year. I'm really excited because this is my first time doing like my worst and favorite videos, like books that I read this year. This is my first time doing that, so I'm really excited to film these. Obviously I'm going to start off with the worst / most disappointing for me. I am definitely the unpopular opinion for a lot of these. There's so many people that I know that love these books, and obviously no offense if you love any of these books, I just didn't happen to enjoy them as much as everyone else. I don't know. I'll explain a little bit about why I didn't like each and every one. I won't go into too much depth into every single one because I feel like I don't have a lot to say about each book, but yeah. So I made a little list here on this little notebook. I don't own any of these books anymore because usually when I give something like a 2-star or obviously a 1-star, I get rid of it. I'll sell it or something. So I don't own any of these books, so I will be popping pictures on the screen, which I'm gonna hate. Editing me is gonna hate, but I don't own any of these, so yeah. And the order of these is I looked through my Goodreads challenge, so I started in January, so it's kind of like a chronological order. It doesn't mean that I liked a book more or disliked a book more, I guess. I don't really know, but it's literally just chronological order. Like the first one is the first book that I read in 2021, so it's just chronological order for this list. So the first book that I thought was one of the worst or more disappointing that I read this year was The Duke and I forget the author name. I picked this up actually for my birthday. I bought it because I knew it was gonna become a TV show, and I watched the Bridgerton trailer and I was really interested. I think one of the reasons why this was so disappointing is because on the trailer I saw that you follow a lot of different like storylines and characters, and The Duke and I only focuses on one storyline, which in my opinion was the most boring on the TV show. But I did love the TV show. I just like TV shows that have a lot of storylines and characters and all of that, and they were introduced, but I don't really love series that kind of follow a story in each book, if that makes any sense, and that's how the Bridgerton series works. So that was something that I didn't like about this book. I also thought it was very basic. I feel like it was something that I've already read, and there was a really problematic element in this book. If you've read this book, you know. Even if you haven't read this book, you probably have heard of this problematic element in the book. So yeah, this is one of the more disappointing. I feel like I gave this a 2.5, and this was the first book I read in 2021. The second worst or more disappointing book that I read this year was Bunny by Mona Awad. Again, this is one of the books that I know so many people that do love this, and I also know a lot of people that didn't like it like I did. I just feel like the entire novel, I didn't know what was happening. It felt like I was reading an acid trip. Like, well, as I was reading it, I was like, am I on drugs right now? Like, that's how I felt this the entirety of this novel. And I know there was like a deeper meaning message. I didn't get it. I know that there's been discussions and people talk about it. I just felt like also in a way it was a little bit pretentious, like the whole girls that are kind of like English majors, and I don't know, I feel like there's some like academia books that can become a little pretentious because of the characters, I feel like. So that I didn't like this book, but I don't know, I have heard of a lot of people that do enjoy it. So yeah, this is just my opinion. The next book that I read, there's some on here that I remember really not liking, but I right now cannot tell you what happens in this novel. So one of the books that I read earlier this year was Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, I believe is her name. This is a fantasy book. It's a standalone. It had a lot of hype. I do think also another factor why I didn't like this book was the time that I read it. There's some books on here that I was really sad, so I feel like I just like speed read and didn't really like take in anything that I was reading. So this is one of them. This is a fantasy standalone. I don't remember anything, but it did remind me of like Stalking Jack the Ripper because of the era of the novel. But yeah, I don't remember anything. I think I gave this like a 2-star or something. But yeah, also Bunny, I don't remember the rating either. I should probably have my Goodreads up. But all of these books are probably 2 stars. The next books, I put them together because they're by the same author. And I read these for my collab with the roomies, Catherine, Zofrea, and Cami. We did like a collab where we read like high school cliques. And I read like a popular Mean Girl. So I looked out for books that had a popular girl as the main character. So I read Cracked Up to Be and Some Girls Are by Courtney Summers, and she also wrote Sadie and The Project. And I actually read Sadie and I enjoyed it a lot more than these two. These two, like I said, both of them follow like a popular girl, and then something happens like in a summer or a semester or something, and they're no longer the popular girl. They kind of fell out of that like popularity in school because something happened. And most of the time, like, I don't know, these novels felt very repetitive. They felt very young, so I feel like girls that are like, I don't know, like 10 through 14 might enjoy these, but it's definitely not for me at this age. I definitely did not like these at all, and I remember that in my vlog I went into a lot more depth of why I didn't like these. But yeah, I don't remember that well what happens in these novels. They're just like high school drama kinda, but like nothing happens, so they weren't very interesting to me. The next book I read, this was a buddy read. I forget, I think we read it, Cami, I think Christine from the roomies. Oh my god, I forgot everyone that was on that buddy read. But I read Crave. I believe her name is Tracy Wolf. Not sure. But I think I was expecting a lot out of this book because I wanted to feel like the Twilight vibes. And this book was more like guilty pleasure type of read. I don't really know. I just felt like it just wasn't very well written. Not a lot happens, and it's a very long book. I felt like a lot more could have been done to this book in order to be like interesting. I did like it a little bit at the beginning, but then I started feeling like it was just a little bit ridiculous. Like the chapter names and like the dialogue, like it just wasn't a great book. It was just a little disappointing. The next book that I read that was disappointing to me was Anxious People. I think this is by Frederick Bachman, and I read this book and a lot of people say that this is one of his best. I didn't like it. I don't really vibe with the writing, so maybe Frederick Bachman is just like not for me. But basically this one's about like a robber, and he has like people held hostage. Can't even remember like what happens. I think it's like at a house viewing or something. He's holding people hostage, and you kind of learn a little bit about each character in the novel. But it's supposed to be like very hard-hitting, and like I didn't care at all about what was happening. So yeah, I feel like this is not like, I don't know if his writing is just not for me, but I didn't like this. But I do know a lot of people that have loved this book and love this author, so yeah, I am definitely the unpopular opinion also in this one. The next book is 9 Perfect Strangers by Leanne Moriarty. This one was super disappointing because I was going into this thinking this was a murder mystery because of her previous novel Big Little Lies, and the whole time I'm reading it and I'm like, when is the murder happening? And it never happens because it's not a murder mystery, and it's kind of pitched as a murder mystery in a way. So I think that was also like an error from like, I don't know, the publishing company or something. But yeah, I didn't like it. I felt like it was trying a little too hard. I do think out of all the books that I have on this list, this might be like the more liked one, because I did enjoy it for a period of time, but then once like I finished it and I looked back at what I read, I was like, what the fuck was that? Like, that was not good. So yeah, this one's also I feel like I'm not explaining what these are about, but this one's about 9 people that go to this like retreat where they take your phones away, and it's there's kind of these rules and everything, and you're kind of like off the grid, and then some weird stuff like starts happening, but you don't really know like what the point is of the retreat, or like, I don't know. It's obviously not murder because that's what I thought, but no. But yeah, that's another one that I didn't like. The next one, I also had high hopes because usually when I hear that a book is turned into an adaptation, I'm like, well, this definitely should be good, because if it got that many readers and it got like, I don't know, it got a movie, so it should be a good book that it got turned into a movie. There's so many good books that aren't turned into like adaptations, so I always expect the book to be good. But this one is They Wish They Were Us, and this is gonna be a movie with like Halsey and the girl from Euphoria. And this one's also like a high school kind of murder mystery. Again, I could not tell you what happens in this book or any like of anything else besides it being a murder mystery that it's set with teenagers. So definitely very not memorable. I thought, like, I remember thinking that twist just wasn't it, like it wasn't good, so this was another disappointing read. But yeah, I usually really love YA thrillers or murder mysteries, and this one I did not like, so yeah. Another very disappointing read, and this one is more because this is one of my favorite authors. Marissa Meyer wrote one of my favorite series, which is the Lunar Chronicles, so I was expecting a lot of this series, but I do think that the main reason why I did not like this is because it's superheroes. Like, I don't think I really like books that are about superheroes. I could probably read a graphic novel, but an actual book, I just don't think it's for me. This is another one that it was disappointing, but I still kind of liked it, so it's not like the worst. But yeah, Renegades by Marissa Meyer. This one kind of follows, like, I think the world is like villains and superheroes, and our two main characters, boy and a girl, don't remember their names. They have like a different persona or like an alias or something, and they're both looking for each other, but they actually know each other in real life, but they don't know that they're that other person. Does that make sense? I don't know, but I was disappointed. But I think it's mostly because I don't really like superhero stuff, and I was expecting to get the feeling that I got reading the Lunar Chronicles, so I think I kind of did that to myself, so yeah. And last but not least, the most recent worst / disappointing book that I read was the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I also had very high hopes for this book because I read My Best Friend's Exorcism, and that happened to be one of my favorites also of this year. And I really liked it, but My Best Friend's Exorcism follows younger girls, and then the Southern Book Club's Guide follows like older women, so I thought I would enjoy it a lot more because I thought the writing would be like a little bit mature, and the humor would be more to par with, like, I don't know, humor that I enjoy now. But it was just disappointing. This one is pretty much about like this woman, she's kind of having her midlife crisis. She's like part of this book club, and there's this weird man that comes into town, kind of like a Ted Bundy-esque kind of guy, and she's like so sure that he's like a vampire or some type of like creature or something, and she's trying to convince her friends that he's a vampire, and they obviously don't believe her. So yeah, this one is also a little bit disappointing, so I'm really scared to read the Final Girl Support Group because I know that also follows like older girls. So yeah, I don't know, but we'll see. I didn't enjoy this one as much. But yeah, those are my 10 worst / most disappointing books of the year. Again, I did enjoy some of these. They were just a little bit disappointing because I expected so much, but I know so many people that love all of these books, so again, if you're one of those people, I'm so glad that you loved it. Alright, thank you so much for watching this video. I am about to film my favorite books of the year 2021, so I'm excited to film that other video too. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.